All right, welcome guys. Live stream should be starting up right now. I am so excited to talk about some NFL regular season. Got a showdown slate to go over here, Cowboys and Bucs. So again, in this live stream, be more of a general Q&A. So feel free to leave questions in the chat. I'll try to get to everyone's questions. We can go over specifics here really quick. Like Vegas total right now is 52 over under. The Bucs are currently 8-point favorites. Again, leave questions in the chat. Let me know. Are you playing Draftkings? Are you playing FanDuel? Are you playing cash? Are you playing GPP? We have $1 million to first. $1 million to first showdown slate, $10 entry. So if you're playing in a tournament like this, you're going to want to try to get unique. Now, whether that be play someone super low owned, leave salary on the table, you can definitely leave salary on the table. If you leave $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on the table, you're going to have a pretty unique lineup. So in the larger field stuff, I would try to get different. All right, if you're playing cash games, obviously don't worry about getting different. If you're playing high dollar single entry tournaments, you don't really have to get different. But yeah, in the larger field tournaments, I would be willing to take more risks. Leave some salary on the table. Maybe you play one of those, number 4 wide receiver in each team, like Cedric Wilson, Scotty Miller, in like 15 to 20% of snaps, and just hope they catch a long one, right? You can take more risks like that. So, guys, let's get some questions here. If you're just coming in, if you could, leave a like button on the live stream. Make sure to subscribe, closing in the 10,000 subscriber mark, and let's get into it. So, Matthew, it's good to be back, man. Let's go. Patrick, how's it going, man? What's up, guys? What's up, Samuel? GBP, Antonio Brown with Dak, Tom Brady, Zeke, OJ, and CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, I have no issues with it. I do think Zeke probably comes in a little bit lower ownership because of the price point and the fact that obviously Tampa Bay has a really solid rushing defense, but that doesn't mean Zeke can't get you there. How do you feel about Gio? I think Gio is a pretty solid value play. Everything we've seen so far in camp is he's going to be their third down back practices. So, Tampa Bay should be a 3-headed monster. I would assume Ronald Jones probably gets more carries than Leonard Fournette, and then you got Gio that should play a majority of the third down situations. So, with his price point and the fact that Draftkings is a full point PPR, I think it makes for a pretty decent play. What's going on, Jumpman? How's it going? Cooper or Godwin? Yeah, it's pretty close. I guess it would depend what the rest of your lineup looked like. But I guess if I had to pick right now, I'd go Godwin. Great to be back. It is so good to be back, guys. I'm excited. Now, don't go crazy. It's good that NFL football is back, but let's not go crazy on the slate. Let's not be betting a ton. A lot of variance in the showdown slates. As I always say, you should not be playing a ton of action on the showdown slate, even though I'm excited NFL's back. I'm not going crazy with my entries. What's going on, Tori? CD, Evans, or Zeke? So optimal build-wise is probably one of those wide receivers. Between CD and Mike Evans, CD probably has a little bit of a higher floor, playing more out of the slot. Mike Evans, a little bit more boom or bust, right? But he's a guy that they can go to in the red zone. So floor-wise, it's probably CD. Upside-wise, maybe Mike Evans. And then Zeke is just the contrarian option right now because of the price point and the individual matchup for him. Thoughts on Gallup? I think Gallup's a good tournament play. Gallup's one of those guys. If you just look at his profile, you can tell. The positive with Gallup is he's going to play a majority of the game, but very boom or bust. 8, 33, 11, 4, 26. So he's a speedster, and he can break some long ones, but you just go through his game log. 7, 8, 28, 4, 11, 4. So the floor is probably the lowest on Michael Gallup of the 3 Dallas wide receivers, but he has similar ceiling to Cooper and Lamb. It's just, again, that floor is a lot lower. So probably someone I wouldn't touch in a cash game setting for GBPs. Perfectly fine with that. Take a kicker tonight or not. I think the kickers are very safe. This is projected to be a higher scoring game. I think you can probably assume somewhere in that 8 to 12 fantasy point range for the kickers. So both kickers definitely in play. Since the Bucs are the favorites, maybe a small lean to the Bucs kicker, but yeah. Captain Lamb with AB Cooper, Godwin, Pollard, and Dak. Yeah, so I think it looks pretty decent for a GPP lineup. I do think Tony Pollard ownership is not going to be that high. I think he takes a leap forward this year. We kind of saw it down the stretch last year that Zeke was losing snaps, Pollard was gaining snaps. Like, Pollard is explosive, good pass catching back as well. I think it's going to somewhere be in that 70-30, 60-40 split. And you have Pollard at a very big discount off of Zeke. So I think Tony Pollard's a decent GPP play. Dak captain with Brady, Gallup, Cooper, Howard, and Brown. So what is it? Is that cash games or GPPs? Cash games, I like playing quarterbacks in the captain, obviously because they have the highest floor. For GPPs, if I'm going to play quarterback in the captain, usually I want a guy that has rushing upside. Now, Dak does have rushing upside, but is he going to run at that knee, leg, right? I don't know. CeeDee Lamb or Julio Jones? So we're talking like season long? I would rather have CeeDee. Like tonight. Fade Tampa Bay. What do you mean by that? Do you mean like go get more exposure to Dallas? Because that's another way I think you kind of get different in large field tournaments is everyone's looking at the odds, right? We see Tampa Bay are 8-point favorites. We know Tampa Bay is a better matchup. So I think what that's going to do is if you like stack Dallas, like a lot of people I think will either stack Tampa Bay or get more exposure to Tampa Bay. But if you go the opposite side and maybe get more exposure to Dallas or kind of stack Dallas, you're going to have a unique lineup. And who knows? Like, crazier things have happened. You never know. Dallas could blow them out. It's possible. All right, guys, we're up to 100 viewers, 28 likes. Let's try to get this to 60 likes before the end of the stream. Again, I'll be live for a good another 20 minutes or so, answer any questions. Pollard or OJ is a good one. Good question. I think because of the price, small lean to OJ, right? You got about $2,000 difference between the two. And I think with OJ Howard is, last season before I got injured, he was playing a decent amount. He was a guy averaging 50, 60% of snaps. I think that could go up a little bit too. 4 catches on 6 targets, 3 catches on 4 targets, 3 catches on 6 targets. At this price, he doesn't need a ton to pay off his salary. He's a good pass catching tight end. I think, point per dollar, he looks a little bit better than Pollard. Gallup captain, yeah, I know you like that. I know you like the Gallup captain one, Tori, which I do too. Like Gallup, I don't think it's be that popular in the captain spot. He again has the lowest floor, but that ceiling is right up there with other Dallas wide receivers. Going with any Dallas player in your MVP spot will automatically put you in much lower ownership. I agree. I agree with that definitely. Dallas guys are going to go a lot lower owned than the Tampa Bay guys. Tampa Bay 5-1 stack. That's probably going to be a popular build or a 4-2 Tampa Bay stack. But what if you do 4-2 Dallas in large field tournaments? Not a lot of people are going to do that. I personally think Dallas is getting put into the blender tonight. Yeah, definitely possible, right? Their defense is not great. Tampa Bay's defense is really good. So, if you play this game 100 times, Tampa Bay is definitely winning more than Dallas. Yep, yeah, we got one later right after this. 6:55 Central. Should be posted up there. Tony Pollard captain. You're going to need something weird for that to work out. Like, you might need like a Zeke injury. You might need Pollard to get like extremely lucky with a touchdown variance and maybe get like run 2 in. You're going to need something really weird to happen. Now, not saying it's not possible, but like if I was building one lineup or only a few, I probably wouldn't go there. Godwin or Evans, yeah, it's a good question. I think it's basically a toss-up. If I had to pick Godwin, he's a little bit cheaper, but really splitting hairs with those guys are going to be out there a majority of the game, and both have similar upside. AB, best captain. Yeah, I think he looks like one of the better captains, right? He is, I think, underpriced. Probably plays somewhere in that 50 to 60% of the snap range. He still looks pretty good out there. Yes, he's good out there in age, but yeah, I like that. Thoughts on Ronald Jones, captain? So that, I think, is not the worst idea for GPPs. The big question mark, I think, for the Showdown slate is what are the Bucs going to do with the running backs, right? I think we kind of know third down-wise, Giovanni Bernard, but Bruce Arians is known to troll us for running backs. Do you guys remember that game last year where Ronald Jones was in and just didn't play that Showdown slate? It was just all Fournette. So, like, You never know. Fournette is number 2 on the depth chart right now, but like, what if Ronald Jones just gets all the carries and Gio gets like all the third down work and Fournette like barely plays? Something weird like that could happen. Now, I do think, Ronald Jones gets more carries than Fournette. I do. He's also cheaper. I don't think either are really going to be involved much in the passing game. So between those two, like early down backs, I'd rather go to Ronald Jones. Again, he's cheaper. And Tampa Bay should be playing Fournette if you're looking at the odds. So I'm okay with that in GPPs, just the unknown. And right now, that is the biggest question mark is what is Tampa Bay going to do with their backs? You like CD or Cooper best? I think it's basically a toss-up, really. I would say CD might have the slightly higher floor and maybe Cooper a little bit of a higher ceiling, but can't go wrong with either. Same thing I'll say about Godwin and Evans, right? It's like it's almost 50-50 with those guys. Suckup or Schultz? So we're talking about the kickers. Suckup or Gavin Schultz or sorry. I was thinking about Dalton Schultz, you mean? So kicker is safer. Kicker is definitely safer. Dalton Schultz, I think him and Blake Jarwin probably split the tight end snaps. Now, he obviously probably has a little more upside if he can catch a touchdown. But, yeah, I would say kicker is safer. Schultz probably a little more upside. What's going on? Mr. Wilson with a $10 super chat. Thank you, man. Great to see the live streams back. Just wanted to say let's go, and thanks for great CSGO content. Thanks, man. Yeah, congrats on your almost takedown. Sweating with you for that earlier. Yeah, Cooper or Lamb, again, just kind of went over that. I think it's basically 50-50. Lamb might slightly higher floor since he's playing more out of the slot. Cooper maybe a little bit of a higher ceiling, but I like both a lot. Do you have to play a quarterback if you have the receiver as captain? No, you don't. So, like, if you have Mike Evans as captain, do you have to play Tom Brady? No. And I think what that will do, too, is so many people want to correlate in showdowns. I think it makes sense to do something a little bit weird in large field stuff. So, like, yeah, maybe you play the wide receiver captain without the quarterback. Things like that do work out. And, again, it'll make your line more unique. So, I guess the answer to that is kind of depends. Like, if you're playing cash games or something like that, then you probably want to have the quarterback in there with the wide receiver. But, yeah, in the large field stuff, you don't necessarily have to stack like that. Yeah, thoughts on Gio? I think he's going to be, all indications are he's their third down back, which is good for Draftkings, his full point PPR. So I expect him to be out there a lot in third down situations. And at his price point, I do think he makes for a pretty solid value. Captain, quarterback, viable GP or stay away. So if I'm playing a quarterback and captain for GPPs, I want a guy that has rushing upside. So if I was going to play one of the captain, it would be Dak. Now, again, how much does Dak rush tonight? We don't know. Coming off that major injury, I don't think he wants to run the ball a ton. But he at least can, right? He can go get you 20, 30 yards in the ground and a touchdown. So if I had to pick, it would be Dak and the captain. All right, guys, we're at, 125 concurrent viewers, 43 likes. And let's try to get to like 60 likes before I get out of here. I was going to say, how do we approach the Bucs running back situation? Yeah, again, that is the biggest question mark, I think, on the slate is what are the Bucs going to do? If I had to guess, I would say what happens. Ronald Jones and Fournette, split the early down work. I think Ronald Jones gets more carries, so maybe 2-to-1 carries, Jones to Fournette. Maybe you get like a couple third downs where Fournette's out there instead of Gio, but I expect Giovanni Bernard to mainly be out there for third down. So I think Jones gets more carries on the ground than Fournette. Maybe Fournette gets 1 or 2 snaps at third down, and then I think Gio is going to be out there majority of the third downs. Let's see. Thoughts on Brown, captain with Brady, Evans, Lamb, Dak, and Gio? I think it looks pretty good. Thoughts on Cooper at captain? Like it. Yeah, I think, the upside play here for GPPs is probably wide receiver at captain. Howard or Bernard? I think that's basically a toss-up. I guess it depends. Do you trust Bruce Arians? You never know. Like, all indications are Gio's going to be a third down back, but would I be super shocked if, like, Gio gets a DNP and Fournette's just a third down back? No. So maybe the slightly safer option is O.J. Howard, since, like, I know for sure he's going to be out there. But that's just because, like, again, Bruce Arians loves trolling with his running backs. Yeah, we got, 50 minutes until lock? Can't wait, man. You fading Zeke? Yeah, so I think Zeke is more of a contrarian play. I don't think he's completely out of play. The price point is a little bit hard to prioritize him. Plus, you got the fact that, again, Tony Pollard should be more involved this year. But Zeke is still a good pass-catching back. I think he is more of a contrarian play for me. So, no, I don't think you have to fade him. O.J. Howard or Gio, last piece, and kind of just answered that. I think it's basically a toss-up for those two guys. But those two guys, I think, both make for good values. Lamb is the correct captain. I like Lamb. Yeah. Brady, captain Dak. Suck up, Tampa defense, and Gio Cash. So you have Brady, captain Dak, AN, suck up, Tampa Bay. No, I don't like playing a defense. I mean, again, crazy things happen, but not in this slate. I wouldn't go defense in cash. Noah Brown would that make room for Fiocco and play for a few targets? Yeah, so that is one thing I will mention is Noah Brown is inactive. So he is a number 5 wide receiver. Is there a chance Semi Fiocco maybe gets a few snaps tonight? It's possible. Again, a large field dart throw, but I would rather go to Cedric Wilson, who's number 4 in the depth chart, pay a little bit more, 1.8K or 1.2K in the flex. I think we get somewhere around that 20% of the snaps for Cedric Wilson, which, again, you can go to these guys in large field tournaments, a Cedric Wilson, a Scotty Miller. They're obviously not optimal plays. They're very risky unless, one of the other receivers above them gets injured. So, yeah, you can go to one of those, number 4 wide receiver in each team, but risky plays. Fiocco might get a snap or two. Would you do Dak over rushing yards, 12 prize picks? I'd probably just stay away from it. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be super comfortable running a ton. So, 12 feels about right. Oh, AB. Yeah, AB is fine for cash. But I don't think I go defense. Unless Tampa Bay just absolutely dominates. I don't think you want to play. You can go Tampa Bay defense and GPPs. Should be low owned. If I was going to play defense, I guess it would be Tampa Bay. But, yeah, over 50. I don't think I'm going to go to the defense. Who's getting more end zone? Who's getting most end zone targets in Tampa Bay? Probably the tight ends or Mike Evans. I will say they're going to. Yeah. Zeke is being slapped on tonight. Yeah, he'll be low owned. Zeke is going to be low owned. So if you want to go to him in GPPs, it's viable, right? You have a lot of things stacked against Zeke. You have 1, Tony Pollard projected to get more work this year. You're number 2. Tampa Bay's the number 1 rushing defense last year. So bad matchup. Pollard expected to get more work, but it's a showdown slate. Zeke could run 2 in from the 1 yard line, right? You could get pass interference. Zeke could have 2 rushing touchdowns. Crazier things can happen. So if you want to go there to get different, I think that's fine. How much money can we leave on the table? I think you can realistically leave somewhere in up to around 5K. Yeah, I've been messing with builds. I think you can go around that range. Leave up to 5K on the table. Both QBs in the same lineup. I think that's safe. I think it's safe with an over-under projected or over 50. Yeah, I think it's very safe. Again, Howard versus Pollard. So taking price in consideration, I think it's OJ, and that's just because OJ is a little bit cheaper. But of those cheap value guys, I think Pollard is getting slept on a little bit. So I kind of like him for tournaments. But yeah, optimal build. I think since Howard is about $2,000 cheaper, I prefer him. I'm sure we've covered this, but Bucs wide receiver to target. I mean, what are we talking about? Point per dollar, end zone, cash games. Antonio Brown is the cheapest, so he might look the best point per dollar. Is kicker at captain a bad idea? Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I mean, kicker and the captain for a regular season game was something I would do if it was going to be really ugly. Maybe a sub 40 over under. Both defenses really good. That's where I think a kicker and the captain could work. A 52 over under with both offenses really solid. Don't think I'm going to do it. Would you play 2 kickers or no? In GPPs, no. Cash games, I think that's fine. GPPs, I want to play 2 kickers. What's going on? My guy back with the action, man. So pumped. Honestly, just been waiting patiently for NBA. LOL. Hey, if we only had to wait, less than a month until preseason. Again, Cooper or Lamb, I think it's basically a toss-up. I'll say this again, though. Cooper, maybe a little bit of a higher ceiling. Lamb, maybe a little bit of higher floor since he's playing out of the slot, but similar price, and I think pretty similar plays today. I like them both. Prescott captain with Cooper, Lamb, Howard, and Elliott. Okay, yeah, I have no issue with that by AMC. All right, where are we at? Thank you guys. We're at 60 likes. Appreciate it. Again, if you're just coming in, if you could, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. Subscribe if you enjoy this content. I'll be covering all the Showdown slates, all the main slates, doing live streams. You're going to see a lot of me, NFL, and then with NBA too, basically every single day. Let's see. FanDuel, yeah, that's fine. I think it's fine in FanDuel. Looks pretty safe, right? You got kind of the Dallas, you have Prescott. So Prescott captured Cooper, Lamb, Howard, L. Okay, so that's going to be contrarian, obviously, with four Cowboys. So large field tournaments, I think that's all right. Possible that could work out. It's going to be unique, but definitely not optimal, right? Gronk or Howard. So we're talking about DraftKings. I think I prefer the price on OJ to Gronk. Lamb versus Cooper at captain. Again, I think you're really splitting hairs with that one. Is leaving 1K not enough for a unique lineup? No, I think like you don't feel like you have to go crazy here, right? I think leaving $1,000 on the table, you have a pretty unique lineup. I don't think you're gonna like ship solo the millie, but like, yeah, not a lot of people want to leave salary on the table. Like most people are gonna try to use all their salaries, so like, don't feel like you have to just get super crazy in large field tournaments. Like you can if you're making a lot of lineups, but like, don't feel like you have to leave like $4,000 or $5,000 on the table. Leaving $1,000 on the table will get you a pretty unique lineup. I don't think you're gonna ship solo if you're playing the millie maker, but I don't think a lot of people will have it. Just planning on banking solo first millie maker tonight. That's kind of how I'm playing. Like, I'm not really entering a ton. I'm really playing the millie maker. I'm trying to get unique. That's how I'm trying to play tonight. Lamb versus Cooper. Yeah, okay. And captain for big GBP. Again, splitting hairs. If I had to pick right now, Lamb, but I like both. Brown captain, Brady, Dak, Gallup. Yeah, okay. Gronk. Is Tampa Bay? If Tampa Bay can shut down the Chiefs' offense, the Cowboys stand no chance. Right? And I think that's what most people think, like Tampa Bay's defense, and they are. They're really, really good defense. So the popular, probably optimal build tonight is to get more exposure to Tampa Bay. Thoughts on playing both quarterbacks? I think it's safe. I think a lot of people will do it. Can you get away with fading a quarterback? I think you can. Now, I wouldn't fade both. I mentioned that. I think in my YouTube video, I would not fade both quarterbacks in this one. I think you could get away with fading one. But safe option is I think to play both. Thoughts on playing Jones and Fournette together? Good question. So I am okay with that in GPPs. That's one way to get unique, right? There's so many ways. I mentioned leaving salary on the table, playing someone super low owned, maybe getting more exposure to Dallas. These are all ways to get unique. That's another way to get unique. Play both Tampa Bay running backs. I don't think a lot of people are going to want to do that. No. The way that works, I think, is if Tampa Bay dominates this game and they're playing from ahead and it's just ground and pound Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette like the entire second half. So, yes, that is fine. It's not optimal, but there is a way that works out. Now, if we're talking just like a straight-up play Fournette at 7K, really hard for me to get to him. Again, though, you never know. Bruce Arians control us. Maybe Gio doesn't play a ton. Maybe they give Fournette the third down work. You just really never know with Bruce. Brown captain, Brady, Dak, Godwin, Lamb. Yep, I think it looks pretty good. Is Howard going to start? So, I mean, they're going to use a lot of two tight end sets. So he'll play. I expect OJ Howard to be somewhere in that 60% snap count range. So, again, he'll be out there a lot. Brown or Gronk a captain for GPP? I think Brown is more upside. I do. Now, Gronk had the big game in the Super Bowl, but I think Antonio Brown's a better GPP play. I'm debating between Godwin and Evans. I feel like Evans gets the touchdown. Yeah, then go Evans, right? I don't have a super strong take on Evans versus Godwin. I don't have a super strong take on CeeDee Lamb versus Amari Cooper. Favorite captain? Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about kind of like my favorite plays, my favorite roster construction over on Patreon. Brown or ground at captain? Brown or Gronk, you mean? Yeah, Brown. FanDuel lineup, MVP, Brady with flex, Gallup, Fournette, Evans, and Brown. And my one issue with Fournette is he's not really going to be the third down back. So hard for me to prioritize him. The only way I think you really consider him is just because he should be pretty low owned. But I don't love the play. Bruce is going to troll us. Yeah, again, that is the biggest question mark. So, like, weird. You never know. Like, Ronald Jones can get all the early down work, and Giovanni Bernard all the third down work, and Fournette get a DNP. Or like something, like, you never know. Something could happen like that. I went over what I think is the most likely outcome of, I think Ronald Jones probably gets 2-to-1 carries to Fournette. Fournette should get some carries as well, and I think Giovanni Bernard gets a lot of third down work. So I expect it to be a committee, a three-headed monster. Yeah, that's what I think the most likely outcome is. Captain Gallup with Flex Brady, Zeke, Fournette, Ronald Jones for FanDuel. I mean, if I'm going to be honest, I think it's just too many running backs. Zeke, Fournette, and Ronald Jones. Crazy things could happen, but I think that's too many running backs for me. Good luck, everyone. Yeah, good luck, guys. Let's see. I'll be live. I can stay live for another 5-10 minutes if you guys have any more questions. We're at 140 viewers, 68 likes. Appreciate you guys. Let's see, what else can we talk about? So I already went over kind of like the number 4 wide receivers, right, with Wilson, Scotty Miller. You know, large field tournaments, can you throw the dice on Cameron Brate in like 10 to 15% of snaps? Sure, you never know, but like, I think that's probably getting too risky. Like, there's no one really in the flat min price I think is playable down here. Like, the cheapest value is like those number 4 wide receivers, and you get up to like Bernard, Howard, and the kickers. There's really no one below that I'm considering. 3 Tampa Bay running backs getting too cute. You have a feeling no name. Yeah, so I kind of just went over that. Like, maybe a third string tight end catches one, or a number 5 wide receiver. It's possible. I'm not trying to get that cute. I would rather leave salary on the table. Playing 3 Tampa Bay running backs, it's going to be unique, right? I think playing 2 Tampa Bay running backs you'll get you a pretty unique lineup. I think playing all 3 is definitely going to get you a unique lineup, but that could work out. If it's a Tampa Bay onslaught, you're going to see Fournette, Ronald Jones getting a lot of carries, and Giovanni Bernard some of the third down work. So it is possible it works out. Do you think Scotty Miller in a Super Bowl here, probably lowest owned? Yeah, so I think Scotty Miller is fine for large field tournaments. More of a dart throw. I think we get around 20% of the snaps unless someone in front of him gets injured. So he's playable. Him and Cedric Wilson are playable, but I don't expect a ton of work for them. They will be on the field, but maybe a quarter of the game at most. Who's going to be the Lee Smith tonight? Yes, maybe Cam Brate, right? Third string tight end, maybe. Gronkowski's safe. I think he's fine. I think, if you're looking at DraftKings, I'd prefer OJ for the discount. FanDuel, Dak is MVP with Cooper, Lamb, Evans, and AB. Okay, yeah. I actually think that's a good, unique lineup. You're fading Brady. You have a little more exposure to Dallas, which also should get you a somewhat unique lineup. I think that's fine. You have Evans, Anthony, and Antonio Brown. Jarwin or Schultz is a good question. So they have Schultz as the number 1 tight end. They have Blake Jar. Or no, wait. What? I could have sworn I saw Dalton Schultz as the starting tight end. Did they just switch that? Either way, it doesn't really matter who's listed 1 and 2. I expect both to be out there same amount. So if I had to pick Jarwin, I think he has a little more upside than Schultz. Going contrarian with 1 lineup, 4 Cowboys, and 1 Buck. That'll be definitely be contrarian, right? Getting a little more exposure to Dallas will make your lineup different. O.J. Howard projected ownership. I'm not sure. I think he's probably going to be somewhat popular because there's not a lot of smash value on the slate. If I had to guess, 25, 30% maybe? I don't know. Brown captain with Brady, Dak, Lamb, Zeke, O.J. Howard. Thoughts? I think it looks decent. Again, my one word with Zeke obviously is it's not a good matchup, and he probably loses a little work to Tony Pollard. So Zeke is the one guy at the top I think is contrarian. He's not optimal, but he's more of an ownership play. The reason you would be playing Zeke tonight is to make your lineup different, or again get more contrarian. Would you take both quarterbacks? I think it's a safe option. I think it's safe. I think you can get away with fading one. Jarwin is more optimal for pass receiving. I mean, yeah, Schultz was pretty good though as a receiving tight end last year. Like when Jarwin went down, he was pretty solid. He had a lot of good games. 7 catches, 10 targets. Nothing crazy, but I agree. I think Blake Jarwin probably a little more upside. Other than QBs, who are 2 locks for cash? So we'll go over that again on Patreon. Link down below if you're interested in that. Prescott captain with Brady, Brown, Gronk, Lamb, suck up for cash. Okay, so Dak, Brady, Brown, Gronk, Lamb, suck up. That looks pretty good. Pretty safe to me. You got both quarterbacks. You have a kicker. Yeah, I don't really see an issue with that. Again, kicker's definitely safe. And you can go to a kicker in GPPs. It can work out. Like a kicker can get you upside for kicker usually around 15. That's probably like 3 or 4 field goals and then, a few extra points. So don't just rule out the kickers in GPP lineups too. Kickers are still viable for sure. Rojo or Gio for GPP? So the upside is obviously way higher on Ronald Jones, right? Because he's just a guy that, if they're playing from ahead, which Vegas odds say they should be, he's a guy that can go and get you, 100 yards and a couple touchdowns in the ground. So the upside, I think, is higher on Rojo, but obviously the price is way cheaper on Giovanni and Bernard. So it kind of depends. I think Ronald Jones has more upside, but Gio's also like $3,000 cheaper, and he's going to be their PPR back most likely. All right, what else do we got here, guys? I'll be live for another minute or two, so any last minute questions, throw them in here. Appreciate you guys coming to check out the live stream as always. I'll be doing these for all the Showdown slates. So we have Thursday, Sunday, Monday, and then I'll be live Sunday morning too. So you're going to see me a lot for live streams, also videos almost every single day. Great to have NFL back. Like, I love talking NFL. Even though it's just a Showdown slate, it is great to talk about some regular season NFL. Let's see, anything else, guys? Good luck. I hope someone in here takes down the Millie Maker. Again, I'm trying to get unique for sure. Would you start Antonio Brown over Jerry Jeudy this week in season long? That's a good question. I'll end it on this, even though it's not with the Showdown slate. I think a small lean to Jerry Jeudy, but yeah, that's a pretty close one for me. But yeah, guys, good luck tonight. Enjoy the game. Again, don't go crazy. And I hope someone in here takes down the Millie. I'll see you guys back here Sunday and then Sunday night and Monday for the Showdown slates as well. Good luck tonight, guys.